I saw earlier today y'all was chopping it up with Leaf. Leaf, wow, B.
Yeah. Leaf don't play around.
Yo, Leaf, wow, B.
Yeah, Leaf don't play.
That's wow. That's definitely wow.
I'll just kick it off. We already got a new YouTube member.
All right, come through.
Ted.
Thanks, brother. Yeah.
Ted,
No
man, we happy to have you, Ted.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, here we go. We back with another one, y'all. How y'all doing? See y'all out there. Y'all still coming in. Make sure to like this video. But hey, depending on where you are, because I know Mr. Chilltown, I know you worldwide. So let me say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where everybody's at. We happy to have y'all.
Yeah.
Steezo313, L host. Never that. Y'all spam
Never that.
host.
Never that. Big Ox is not an L host.
W Chill. Hey, Chilltown, real quick, before we do get into some things, I had a quick question. So Chilltown, that's like what they call the city you from?
Yes. I'm born and raised in Jersey City, right?
Right. Thought so.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Jersey City, and the nickname like Sacktown, right? And in San Francisco is Frisco, LA, and Jersey City is called Chilltown. So that's where I'm from.
So I asked you that because you was at some point yesterday on the panel, you got to cooking, and somebody was like, they was kind of spamming Grill Town in the chat. Say you was on the grill. Would you ever consider changing your name to Grill Town?
Nah, because it's always Chilltown. Because that's the logic. I'm chill. Don't get me wrong. I see you get the cooking, Big Ox, right? I seen you all get the cooking. So it's not a situation where I don't get the cooking, but for the majority of the time, that's my tagline. That's who I am. I'm chill.
Yeah, no doubt. So. Well, let's get straight into some things. I know you seen the news about Ja, right?
Yeah, I did see that.
How do we feel about that, Chills?
I thought it was I had gotten my information wrong, and I'm glad we got on here so we can clear it up. I thought it was 8 more games, but it's 8 games total. So I thought it was 8 more games. It's not 8 more games. It's 8 games total. So he'll be eligible. Today is Wednesday, so he'll be eligible to come back Monday. So he basically got a lot of time served for his games. Now, I don't love it when I say that it's only basically 2 more games. I don't really love it bringing him back this early because I think that him being away from the crew and getting himself together, I think that was beneficial for him. And I also think that it's something that he probably could use a little more time. I'm not ready to just throw him back in the lineup, especially considering, Memphis doesn't suck. I mean, they 500 without him in the lineup.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
They 500 without him in the lineup.
They knocked off the Grizzlies. I mean, the Warriors.
Yes, they did, and they over 500 in the last 5 games. Right. So I think they 3-2 without him in the lineup over the last 5 games. So with that being said, like there isn't a sense of urgency to get him back. Right. Yeah. They're doing just fine. Plus, what I don't want to happen either, Ox, is I don't want for this to be Ja looking at this going, well, this wasn't really a big deal, and he falls right back into the ways that he was, right back into the way he was doing the same thing that he was doing. And I don't want that to happen, which is why I wouldn't be objective to them, holding them out a little while longer than 8 games. I thought maybe I'm not going to say the entire season, but I wasn't totally okay with him coming right back.
Yeah, you had touched down on that last week.
Yeah,
a little discipline could go a long way in a time like this.
It could.
It definitely could.
Yes, sir. It definitely could.
Yeah, just to the chat, let y'all know y'all running the show again today. We do got a couple topics we touching on, but we want to hear from y'all. So send them super chats through, ask them questions, point out topics. If it's anything you need to something more in depth upon, ask Chilltown. We'll get to it. I'm gonna send that link out too pretty soon, y'all. So file in.
Yeah, no doubt. Because you got to remember too, Ox. So we got a young guy in Ja who, for all intents and purposes, is basically green. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, this dude is what we call a country bumpkin. The dude, I mean, he doesn't know much. Went to a small school. He basically just showed up on the scene, and we go from a dude from a small town in South Carolina in a small school to superstardom in the NBA, where now he's a big deal, and he's becoming the face of a lot of things. I mean, Powerade, they were ready to push this. They were ready to push Ja in this ad. I think that it was the biggest ad in the history of their company. They were ready to make Ja the face of that. So when he has things like that, Nike, being the face of the NBA, being one of the future stars in the NBA, being 23 years old, I mean, that could be a lot on a young guy, especially if he's got the wrong people around him, right?
So did he lose that Powerade endorsement?
They pulled the Powerade, and I don't think that they completely shelved it, more than I think that they just slowed it down. And I think that Ja's going to clean up his image, and I think that they're going to revisit this. I think they're going to revisit it again. I don't think that it's something that's completely over with. I think that Ja's gonna clean up his image, which, by the way, Ox, I wouldn't have been surprised if he came back with a haircut and a completely different image. That wouldn't surprise me if you saw that.
You think his PR team is on top of things like that? You think they?
What happened? Prime example? What happened to your man up in Sacramento? What happened to your man Fox up in Sacramento? Cut his hair, clean himself up, playing a lot better. Not that I got a problem with how you rock your hair and your dreads. I think that's dope. I think that's it's accustomed to who you are. I think that's dope. But with that being said, when you got to revamp yourself, it's a lot of things that you might have to switch up. And one of them things might be that. And that might be an image that Ja might not want to portray, because he's already got that tag on him now. And that's going to carry that's going to be with him for a while. Now, if you want the bad boy image, you can have the bad boy image, but still perform at a high level and stay out of legal trouble. I mean, Dennis Rodman wasn't really in that much legal trouble, was he?
Right.
You saw Dennis partying. You saw Dennis having a good time, and Dennis would color his hair. But with all of that being said, Dennis produced.
Yeah,
Dennis
if you could stay out the way and just have fun, you know what I'm saying. But when that legal stuff starts coming through, it changes the game.
It completely switches it up, Ak. It completely switches it up. So I think that we're gonna see some changes from this kid a lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. They probably gave him a stern warning, like, Ja, we're gonna give you this time, but don't let nothing like this happen again.
Yeah,
I hope it helps him out. Lonnie Williams with the super chat, actually talking about somebody that we're gonna get to talking about in a little while.
Yeah.
I think Mobley has gotten more aggressive on the offensive side lately. If this keeps up or even improves with all they have, Cavs are a problem.
Cavs are a big problem, and I still think the Cavs are a year away from really challenging in the Eastern Conference. But Mobley taking that step forward, it didn't look like it earlier in the year. And the reason why it didn't look like it earlier in the year, because Donovan Mitchell was on the roster. And being a young dude, this dude coming onto the roster, not only Donovan Mitchell coming onto the roster, what he brings in terms of buckets. Evan Mobley not really sure about what his role was. He kind of took a back seat, not just took a back seat. He kind of settled in, and you didn't see any improvement from him. But as the season went on, you started seeing more from him, right? That mid-range shot, he started taking that a little bit more. He started running the floor more, right? He started rebounding more and being more aggressive offensively. I've said this already in the past, Big Ox, that he reminds me a lot of Chris Bosh, except he right-handed. He reminds me a lot of Chris Bosh, except he right-handed. So I think him being more aggressive, I think Cleveland is going to be a problem. What I do not want to do is I don't want to overrate these dudes, because what happens, Ox, is a lot of people, they see young teams and they automatically want to go, yo, we right there. No, you're not. Not yet, yo. Relax with what you guys are on your way to doing it. You ain't there yet, though. You're not there yet.
Yeah. I might have stepped a little over the edge with my Evan Mobley take, but I'm not walking that back. I think he can definitely, in the next 5 to 6 years, I think we'll be talking about Evan Mobley amongst those great power forwards.
Why that long? Why that long, Ox? I had him on the all-league defensive team last year as a rookie. Yeah. I thought he was gonna make.
Well, I'm talking about all time. I'm not talking about like in the.
Oh, okay. So not like okay.
Yeah, I think Evan Mobley has the ability to really transcend into one of those Yeah, we gotta wonder in a decade. Now I know a decade's a long time, but in a decade, I think we might be talking like, is Evan Mobley maybe a top 10 all time?
Power forward.
I think he
So,
could. I think he could.
So you think we might be having a conversation about him like we was talking about Weber, like when Weber was around, like we was talking about Chris Bosh, like we was talking about KG, guys like that.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, let's just get straight into it. He's right now he's number 3 on the Defensive Player of the Year ladder.
Yep.
So he's obviously a problem on the defensive end. He moves his feet well, he protects the rim, keeps his hands up, moves his feet. He's a hell of a defender. He has a nice touch around the rim. He can knock down the mid range, the corner 3. I don't see why he won't just keep getting better. I think, and on top of that, he's still got another 15 pounds to gain.
He one of them dudes too, Ox, that I'm not sure of him bulking up would help his game. I think he one of those dudes, kind of like KG, where KG did not need to be 250 pounds, but KG was one of those guys where he was strong enough, and he was, even though he was built that way, he was still strong enough to hold his own. And I think Mobley is one of those guys where I think he could probably put on, I think he could stand to put on another 10, maybe 10 pounds. And we talking about a kid too, Ox. We ain't talking about a dude who's been in the league 7-8 years. He might still be growing as far as we know.
Right. That's what I meant by that 15 pounds. I don't mean like he should bulk up. I mean, I think he's 20.
Right.
So I mean, by the time he's 25, it's just going to naturally happen.
It's just going to be there, right? Yeah. He's just going to be there. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what do you think about that Defensive Player of the Year ladder? What is it? Brook number 1, Jaren Jackson 3, and Jaren Jackson 2 and Evan 3. Is that consistent to what you've been seeing?
It has been, but my issue, Bob, is Brook Lopez is at the top of the list simply because of being a rim protector. Now, I don't have a problem with you being a rim protector. I mean, Rudy was a rim protector. Right? Rudy was a paint presence. But the difference is the Defensive Player of the Year is not the best defensive player in the game all the time. Because I don't think Marcus Smart was the best defensive player in the game last year. I don't think he was better.
Right?
I don't think he was a better defender than Mikal Bridges. I think that Mikal Bridges had a bigger impact on his unit. So I'm thinking about Brook Lopez the same way I'm thinking about Marcus Smart. So if I look at what Brook Lopez is doing, his ability to man the paint, his ability to protect the rim, don't get me wrong, those things are really complex. But is it really that difficult, that much more difficult when I got Giannis right next to me? Is it that much more difficult when I got Drew Holiday on the perimeter, keeping guys out the paint or steering them a certain way toward me to make my job less difficult? I mean, when you're talking about what Rudy was doing, Rudy had the ability to rim protect, but he didn't have anybody on the wing like that. I mean, Mike Conley made the All-League defensive team 10 years ago, right? So he wasn't like he was an elite defender like that. So when I think about what Brook Lopez is doing and what he has, does he impact the defensive end more than Jaren Jackson does? Because he's their primary rim protector. I don't love the fact that Jaren doesn't rebound as much as I'd like him to. I kind of put him in the same space, to be honest with you, Ox. I kind of put him in the same space with Embiid as a rebounder. Like, he should be a better rebounder than what he is. Right. I think that if he was a better rebounder, we would have a much more. He would have a bigger impact if he was a better rebounder. Plus, he fouls a lot too. So his ability to stay on the floor. Now, his ability to stay on the floor and to foul out to foul out of games, that kind of hampers Memphis's defense. So
it does. You would think a guy like Jaren Jackson with the type of motor he has would be a better rebounder. You would think he'd come up with more of those loose rebounds or long rebounds. Right. Just the way his motor is. So I'm not understanding what a correlation is. Now,
and I also think that has to do with him being young. So because he's young, he's still trying to figure it out. I equate that to kind of what we see with Jason Tatum. Like, we had this conversation with Jason Tatum where it's the up and down. I call it the growing pains of becoming great, where we've seen what you are and we see what you can become. And we see flashes of it, but then we see the other side. But then we see flashes of it, and then we see the other side. Well, same thing with Jaren Jackson. We see the kind of rim protector that you are. We see the kind of rebounder you could be, right? We see the kind of paint presence that you are and that you could be, and the kind of defender that you could be. You could be an anchor on a championship team, but to put the other stuff together, knowing when to man the paint, knowing how to steer defenses away from the rim, picking up fouls that you pick up unnecessarily, where I saw him in a double team end up hooking a guy and picking up a foul. Well, that's his fourth foul in the middle of the third quarter. Right. So now he's got to sit down. Right. Those are mental issues that as an anchor on defense, I got to be smarter than that. And he does that a lot. And I think I think that has to change in his game more than anything.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Now, when I think about Evan Mobley, and you and I just had this conversation, and we was talking about it before we even got on the air, I thought he was going to make the All-League defensive team last year as a rookie. He would have been the first dude to do it since Tim Duncan, but he got hurt, right? He ended up getting hurt, so I think that might have hampered him being on the All-League defensive team. But I just like you talk about him being one of the all-time greats. Like we're going to be having this conversation about him in the next, I don't know, 5-6 years about being one of the all-time greats. This is one of the reasons why I think he's an elite defender. I don't think he's a good defensive player. I think he could be elite as a defender, like Garnett kind of elite, where his ability to his ability to man the paint, his ability to rebound. I think he could become a better rebounder, not just a better rebounder, a better rim protector. And like you said, when he starts to fill out a little bit more, what that's gonna do is that's gonna help him in the paint be even more of a presence. Now his ability to be versatile and defend on the wing, because he's still young and he's still lighter, he could still do that. But like you said, when he starts to bulk up, he'll still be able to do that stuff on the wing, but even on the box, he'll be able to defend even more. So if I had to pick right now who the defensive player of the year is, I'm having a difficult time with it not being Mobley, simply because of what he brings. Now, I know that with what what Brook Lopez does, I think Mobley might be a little bit more valuable to his unit than Brook Lopez, considering who he playing with. I know Jared Allen is a 16-10 guy, right? He's one of the best rim protectors in the game, but I think the separator is on the perimeter. Like he doesn't have those guys like what Brook Lopez has. I mean, I don't think that I'm not sure that Wade or Okoro, none of these guys are the perimeter defenders that Drew Holiday and Carter are. The menace that these guys are. I think that Milwaukee is one of the best defensive teams they could be one of the best defensive teams in the game, and that's because there's a collection of guys who are awesome defensively. I don't think there's a collection of guys on Cleveland that are awesome defensively. I think that defense is manned, and they're at the top of the league defensively, by the way. Right. Cleveland is. And I think that defense is manned by both Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. They're the anchors of that defense.
Right. That's a fact. I see a couple guys in the waiting room. I'm going to let y'all up. Let me get through a couple of these super chat stuff. First, we got one from our guy, Chris. Do you consider Derek Fisher a great role player?
They all role players, Ox. Every last one of them. The question is what exactly is your role? So Steve Webb was a role player. Fox is a role player. Sabonis is a role player. But what is Sabonis' role? Sabonis, I'm on the glass, right? I'm the presence in the paint. Now, I think we get confused with what a role player is. Like, we think about role players, we immediately think Draymond Green, right? We think a rotation player. No, they all role players. To answer your question about Derek Fisher was the consummate role player. He played his role perfectly. I'm a distributor. I knock down open shots, and I defend on the perimeter. Bryant, Shaq, those dudes are the buckets. Robert Horry, he knocks down open shots when he needs to, and I'm available when you need me to knock down open shots. I think Derek Fisher was a great role player, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure, no question. From Emil Shi, shout out Chill and Big Ox, much love. As a Wizards fan from DC, the last couple of seasons were super disappointing. Was Beal worth the max?
Well, what was the alternative? The alternative was letting them walk and starting over and going in the draft. That was the alternative. And when you think about a max player, max players do what they can to get you in the playoffs. They do what they can to make you competitive. Now, I mean, Washington is in the play-in tournament, but I don't think that was largely due to Beal. Beal's been out for a lot of the season. So I'm not sure that was due to Beal. I think that they might have overpaid for him, but I do think that he was one of the better guards in the game, and I don't think that you had a lot of options at that point.
Yeah. It has been kind of rough, but Kristaps been playing really good this year. So that's a good.
Yeah, he has. They're gonna have to do something with Kuzma too, because Kuzma, I think his deal is up. I think next season his deal is up, so they're gonna have to figure out what they're gonna, because they got him on the cheap from the Lakers.
Yeah,
they got him on the. They definitely got him on the cheap, so they're gonna have to come off something.
Yeah. Let me see. Finn 275. Greatest chill quote is, Wilt should have been in a cape and a mask instead of playing basketball.
I'm trying to figure out
that yesterday. That's right.
I'm trying to figure out like what was this dude doing playing basketball, considering everything that he did, right? I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger said he saw Wilt bench 500 pounds like it was nothing. He saw Wilt bench 500 pounds like it was nothing. This dude is fighting mountain lions and killing them, right? The dude he won the Big 8. He won in track and field. He won the Big 8. He was a superior athlete. So when I think about Wilt, I'm thinking about him as a basketball player. I'm like, yo, this dude should have been like a superhero or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Real.
For sure. That's wild. That was crazy. I forgot you said that yesterday. I mean, Wilt's like that. People don't realize how big, strong, and fast Will was. Let me grab a couple of these guys from down here. Because I kind of want some. KB, what's up, man?
Hey, man, how y'all doing?
What up?
Good. Mar?
What up?
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
What's up, fellas? What's going on?
Not much.
We all right, man? How you doing?
What up? I'm good, man. I'm good. What's up?
Y'all got what y'all got today? Got anything in particular on your mind? Y'all just came to say hello.
I was thinking about back to the Bucks. You know what Chill was talking about. They got really deep over the deadline, and I don't think people are talking about it. I've heard a lot about Boston's depth and Philly's depth and other teams like that, but no one's really talked about the Bucks. They were down Middleton last night, and a lot of their role players stepped up. Javon Carter plays big defense. He takes guys full court, same way Drew Holiday does. Pat Connaughton can shoot the three. They got Jay Crowder now, dirty work guy, kind of like PJ Tucker for them in 2021.
Right.
They got a lot of guys coming off their bench. Marjon Beauchamp is a young guy who's good.
Yep.
Who else played? They got Bobby Portis. I'd say he might be sixth man of the year this year. But one thing, going back to Brook Lopez's defense, the reason why I don't think he's defensive player of the year is drop coverage. Like the way he plays drop coverage, he is poor. Right. Like I was watching Chris Paul last night. Every time he came off a pick, he had a wide open mid range if he wanted to shoot it. When Brook was playing his drop coverage defense, he doesn't like to put his hand up, and he really just stays with the center.
I just think about how do you affect the crew? How do you affect the game defensively overall? So like last season with Mikal Bridges, his ability to switch onto guys on the perimeter, his ability to slow down your transition game, right? So if you got the lead guard and they're basically moving up and down the floor fast, and him picking up, his pickup point is at the 3-point line at the other end, and he's slowing down your offense. That's a big deal. Same thing with him in the half court where he's fighting over screens and slowing down Steph Curry. So Steph Curry is a big part of what Golden State was doing. Steph Curry, as anybody knows, he struggles with length and athleticism. So when he gets with a guy like Mikal Bridges, who makes it hard on him, we get late in the games, that basket doesn't look as big as it did in the first quarter. So when you got a guy who affects the game like that, I have to consider him as the best defender in the game. Now, when you got a guy that's man in the paint, right? You got a guy that's man in the paint and being the rim protector that Brook Lopez is, that's a big deal too. That's a big deal too. But if you only doing that and that doesn't affect the game as much, because it's been empty before. Like we don't talk about, I mean, Hassan Whiteside basically had the same numbers as Rudy Gobert the year Rudy Gobert won the defensive player of the year. But a lot of that stuff was they consider it to be empty. So I don't think what Brook Lopez was doing was empty, but how much does he affect the game defensively as opposed to the other dudes around him?
I think Giannis is a better pure rim protector than him anyway.
Right.
Like, if they were to put Giannis at the 5, what I've seen from Giannis and his ability to recover quickly off the pick and roll, like Giannis can like step all the way up and hedge to a guard and drop and recover and block a lob, or he can contest a shot from the center.
Right.
No one I've ever seen. Like, most centers have to pick one or the other because they can't move their feet quick enough. But Giannis is something different, the way he can defend a pick and roll.
Right. I had Giannis coming into the season as the defensive player of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I was surprised when people were talking about Brook Lopez the way that they were talking about him as the defensive player of the year. I was thinking, wow, I'm not going to go that far. Not that he's whack as a defender. I want to make sure that I'm clear on that. I don't think he's whack, but no doubt about it. I didn't have him that high.
Chill, you actually brought up a great point when you were making Evan Mobley's case for Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, when you talk about the Bucks, I mean, you have Giannis, who's already won a Defensive Player of the Year, Brook Lopez, who's on that level, and Drew Holiday. I mean, he's a Defensive Player of the Year level guard too. So, I mean, you got 3 potential Defensive Player of the Year, elite level defenders.
Was it last year? I'm sorry to cut you off, but was it last year or was it year before that? I think Drew Holiday was first team all defense.
I believe it was last year, but
yeah, I think it was last year.
Last year, the year before, he was first team all defense. Part of it is Bud's system. He does love to maximize their guys' potential defense too. I mean, I remember when Eric Bledsoe was here, he also made first team all defense too.
Yeah.
One reason, even though I do think Evan Mobley should win Defensive Player of the Year, Brook Lopez is most likely going to win it, and it's because one of the biggest reasons is because their defense has significantly improved. Last year, when he was out with that back injury, last year they were the 14th ranked defense. And Mar, you actually touched on the point that you think that Giannis is a great rim protector, an elite level rim protector. That's where I disagree, because when he was playing the 5, even though he's a very, very elite level help defender, he can't protect the rim that well, right? He's okay, but he's not really that well. I mean,
I would disagree. What I'd say to that is that Bobby Portis is now playing the 4 instead of having like a serviceable defender. Bobby Portis, as much as he gives you rebounding and points wise, he gives you energy on defense, but he's not locking anyone down. He's not stopping guys from getting to the paint. He's not really contesting shots on the block. So it was solely on Giannis compared to Brook Lopez having another guy with Giannis who can do that. I think if you gave Giannis and Aaron Gordon or anyone who's like a solid big power forward, who's like a defensive minded power forward, I think Giannis would probably be the best defensive center in the league.
And that is somewhat of a valid point. I do think it does have some merit there. I mean, we saw last year they were going through a bunch of centers: Greg Monroe, Serge Ibaka, DeMarcus Cousins. I mean, they were just going through the mill with a bunch of centers on 10-day contracts.
Right.
But with Brook Lopez back, they are one of the best defenses in the league. Brook Lopez leads the leagues in total blocks and block percentage. He has like over 1,000 contested shots. And there's also there is a tiny bit of narrative, I think, that there is going on with Brook Lopez, that look at this guy how he's changed his play style since he was with the Nets to the Bucks. How he was a very offensive oriented player with the Nets to now how he went with the Bucks, and how he's a really defensive focused guy. So there is a bit of narrative going on with that. So I think he will win it. Jaren Jackson, on the other hand, I think he also has a strong case. My biggest issue with him is that he fouls a bunch, especially I don't watch the Nuggets a ton, but when they do get the opportunity, when they are on national TV, he picks all these dumb fouls for no reason. He gets into foul trouble quickly.
And it affects their defense. It affects their defense tremendously when he does that.
Exactly, right? Exactly. So there's that. And you just made that case for Evan Mobley, which was fantastic. So it will be a tight race coming down. I think it will come down to who has the best defense and how large the margin is between the top 5 defenses. But it'll be very interesting to see who wins this year.
Word. It will be, no doubt about it. It will be. I'm always interested in, like, a lot of people talk a lot about the league MVP and stuff like that. I take being an all NBA performer, whether you're a first team, second team, whether you're an all league, all NBA performer, or all league defender. I take stuff like that very seriously, because essentially what you're telling me is that these guys are the best of the best, especially when you're doing it multiple times. Like, if you're an all league performer once or twice, I mean, I'm not really that high on it, as opposed to when you're a perennial all-league defender. Like, when we're talking about you before the season starts, because you've been on the all-NBA team the last 4 years. You've been on the all-league defensive team the last 5 years. Like, we're talking about you before the season started. And your numbers, not just your numbers, but your game is translated to us talking about you. We ain't just talking about you just because you made the all-league defensive team. last year. We're talking about you because we see your game and we see the kind of defender that you are. For example, Paul George. I think Paul George, his best days as a defender, I think, are behind him. I think a lot of that, one of the guys that I was on the panel with brought it up, and I think that they make a lot of sense, that a lot of that may be reputation. And because it's reputation, a lot of these guys get slid in when they really shouldn't be, and we lose sight of guys who actually are that good. And I have to start paying more attention to those guys that I need to be paying attention to instead of the guys that I used to pay attention to.
No, so that's actually an excellent point, Mars. Chill. The thing is, compared to MVP, these other awards, Defensive Player of the Year and Most Improved Player, the thing is that while they are a stats-based award, they're also, you actually have to watch the game to do it. The thing that ruins MVP is that it's so much of a narrative-based award. And while stats do play an argument into it, it gets ruined by this over-reliance on the narrative to when you are awarding it. So, and like Defensive Player of the Year, like you said, it is very, very fun to watch all three of these guys competing, to watch how their defense actually impacts the game. Most improved, like I'm actually watching Lauri Markkanen in the Utah Jazz when I usually don't. I'm actually watching some of these other candidates, and it's very interesting to watch. So you brought up a very good point there. Yeah,
that's a fact. Let me read this super chat real quick, and then I want to ask y'all a quick question before I bring up these next couple guys. Got a super chat from our man Tyson. Kings looking nice, Ox. Salute, brother. Chill. All that being said, Suns in 6.
Getting bounced. Not just in 6. Getting bounced in 6.
See ya.
Bye. Goodbye. And just so you know, Tyson, it's not that you do just whack. It's just getting KD. Let's just say for the sake of argument that KD was healthy. Like, so we're going to get KD on this crew with 20-something games left, plus going into the playoffs, with Sacramento being as healthy as they've been all year, right? With Memphis, with what they got going on, with Denver playing the way that they've been playing, with the Clippers playing the way that they've been playing, how tight the Western Conference is, even though KD is probably the best plug-in player in the game, to get this Phoenix team to the NBA championship just like that, I think that that's unrealistic to believe, man, because we're talking about a Western Conference that's got a lot of players. I mean, it got a lot of teams that, one, have been together for a while and got some good cohesion. I know what you're looking at with the Golden State Warriors, like what they do on the road. But, man, when they home, I hate this match. To be honest with you, I hate this matchup between them and Phoenix. Phoenix is in trouble if they have to see them dudes.
Chill, you know what? Tyson's actually in the waiting room. I'm about to bring him up and let him rebuttal to that.
Work.
But first, we got to keep it moving, guys. But let me before I move on, let me ask y'all a question: are the Suns winning the Western Conference Finals? KB, are the Suns winning the West?
I'm looking at the West right now, and I gotta say, I think I'll give them a pretty good chance right now because I don't trust.
Yes or no?
Yes, it's a very good.
Yes. More? Yes or no?
No, Bob, you're looking fresh though.
Oh, I appreciate you. That's that self-made couture. Y'all go ahead and get you some. Hey, D. Reed, are you here or what?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just being a gentleman, letting everybody get it off.
Hey, but
I ain't introduced shit, but
oh shit, you got to talk, bro. You holding somebody's spot. But go. I'm gonna keep you on for a minute, D. Reed. KB, Mar, appreciate y'all for stopping by. Get with us next week.
Be easy, fellas.
Hey, y'all stay tuned in. Don't go nowhere.
No doubt.
Hey, Chill, I had a question for you. Now that
What's up?
As far as with the Suns, so who do you
hold
think?
on. You got the Suns winning it, D. Reed?
No, sir. Okay. But I just had a question, being that the Lakers and the Suns is like way in the same situation as far as missing their best player. So who do you think would be more likely to make a finals run, the Lakers or the Suns?
I'm bugging how y'all do is we talk about the Lakers and the Suns, and the NBA champ is the 5th seed in the West, and I think the road to the NBA finals goes through the Bay. And until somebody bounce them dudes, they are the champs. And I think the team that has the best opportunity to bounce them is Denver. I know everybody's looking at Denver and how they playing right now, but there have been plenty of teams that, and we went over this yesterday, there have been plenty of teams that have backed into the playoffs or haven't been playing great coming into the playoffs, but get a good matchup or get 2 good matchups, and next thing you know, they start rolling again. So
real quick, Chill. Hey, Hey, Sean, you here? If not, I'm about to replace you. You know, we can't be holding up spots.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, for sure. My bad, Chill. What was you saying?
As I was saying about Denver, I just think that they got the best opportunity. There's plenty of teams that have backed into the playoffs, but got a good matchup and ended up getting hot. And the next thing you know, they rolling. So when I look at that, like I said, when I look at that Phoenix team, those guys have to get acclimated to playing with KD. It's not that simple. Even though plugging KD in and that's 27 a game that we add into the lineup. That's great. And
not only that, Chill, real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you, brother. But not only that, but what he does for Devin Booker and Ayton as far as giving them space on the floor to do what they do and elevate their game, I think is a big factor. Like you said, he's plug and play. So as soon as he hits the floor, he's a bucket. And what he does to a defense and his gravity gives Booker a lot of space to do what he does. And when he has that type of space, he's tough to stop. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then when they got a kin on those guys, Ayton's gonna get easy buckets at the rim. So only thing we missing to me, is I hate to say it, Chris Paul to me is our weakest link at this point. That's the only issue I have. And our backup point guard situation with Cam is not a campaign. It's not a great situation either. So that's the only problem I see with the Suns is their point guard depth. And even their top point guard to me is a liability at this point. So that's my issue.
No
How you feel about DeAndre Ayton?
I like Ayton.
I personally think
Chris
Chris Paul.
Inconsistent.
Well, the reason why he's too inconsistent is because they don't involve him like they should. That's the problem. This is why I'm saying I think that Chris Paul, with the exception of Grayson Allen, I don't know if you guys have heard me say this, but I think with the exception of Grayson Allen, Chris Paul got the easiest job in the league. Right. He doesn't have to do anything except distribute, knock down open shots, and be solid defensively. That's all he has to do, especially at his age. That's all he has to do. I'm watching y'all play Dallas. I think it was last weekend y'all played Dallas. Yeah. DeAndre Ayton had 6 shots. He went 4 for 6 from the floor. The big fella needs to be more involved in the offense. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that guys get acclimated to playing with KD. That doesn't mean that you got to switch up your style. It's just that now this guy is here. I got to figure out where he likes the basketball. I got to figure out where my space is on the floor. I got to figure out where I need to be in order to not get in his way, for him not to get in my way. Because remember, we're talking about a scorer here in KD. He doesn't have to do much, and he's not a volume shooter, right? He's not that. But I still got to get acclimated to playing with him and to throw him out there 20-something games. But this is before he got hurt. To throw him out there with 20-something games, I think it would have been an adjustment. I'm not sure that I wasn't sold on Phoenix.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I agree with the adjustment period, like you said. It rarely teams make a all-star break or a trade deadline move to that magnitude and end up winning that year. Usually, you replace some role players and different things of that nature in at the all-star break to bolster your team.
By that time, we already set. You're right. By that time, we already set.
So it's tough to expect the team to win getting somebody at the trade deadline, a star of that magnitude. I agree with you 100%. But I'm a Suns fan, so that was a little biased in my take. But I don't know. The West is wide open, though. I will say that. I don't believe in Denver. Dallas to me is not it at all. We never seen a team really with 2 non-defensive stars like that and win a championship. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the rim protection. They don't have the perimeter defense. They really only got a couple of good wing defenders. So that's not enough. So I'm not buying them at all.
The West is ours.
Big Ox is a West Coast dude. So Big Ox is a West Coast dude. So he's repping the West Coast, right? And he's repping the Western Conference. So whenever you guys talk about the Western Conference, Big Ox is loving this. He's a West Coast dude.
So chill. Can I my real reason for coming on was about the Boston Celtics, because I don't like what I'm seeing from them. The last game I watched versus the Rockets, I'm seeing a lot of hero ball. Jason Tatum falling in love with the long ball, not attacking the rim as much as he was at the beginning of the season. I didn't think they would be missing Robert Williams as much as they is, but I feel like he's basically one of the main cogs as far as, that defense being what it's supposed to be. And I don't see the same intensity as last year. I don't know if that's the coaching change or a new voice, but I don't see the same Celtics team as I did last year.
I think it's a number of different things. Well, number one, what's the one constant that's been with the Boston Celtics? So Marcus Smart in and out the lineup, Robert Williams in and out the lineup, Jaylen Brown in and out the lineup, right? Malcolm Brogdon in and out the lineup. So Derek White in and out the starting lineup. Not to mention your coach, who he basically implemented a lot of stuff that Udoka implemented last year, but there's the other stuff, the managing the crew. That's why Phil Jackson was as good as he was. So you figure Tex was the X and O guy. Phil was the manager. Phil could X and O, but he was also the manager. Ime is Coach Udoka, as good as he was with the X and O's, that other stuff was also important. Now, that's not to say that I want him back. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that camaraderie that they had, it was there. Now, to have arguably the best defensive big in the game in Robert Williams in and out the lineup, that affects your defense, right? And the one constant that you had all year has been Jason Tatum, right? The one constant that you had all season long has been Jason Tatum. I watched him against, it wasn't Philadelphia, against the Knicks. 17 threes, my man. Not only did he shoot 17 threes, the other shots that he shot, everything was 7 feet and in. Nothing in between. No 12 to 15, no 15 to 18. If he can get that in his game on a consistent basis, we're talking about a top 3 player for the next 5 to 8 years. But it's not there yet because I think that's the way that they play. Plus, this coach, he's got to get with Jason Tatum to let him know, yo, we could get better looks than this. We could get better shots than that. Instead of just he's jacking up shots and there's no repercussions to it. I'm not completely out on Boston. I mean, I think they 3-5 in the last 8 games. I'm
getting nervous.
Yeah, I'm not completely out on them because I saw them last year make it to the NBA Finals, and there was a stretch where they wasn't even a playoff team. So I'm not completely out on them, but some things got to change. And one of the things that has to change is we got to get some consistency in the lineup more than anything. We can't have Robert Williams 2 games, lose him for 3 games. We can't have Jaylen Brown here for a week or 2 weeks, and then he's gone for 2 more games. We got to have some consistency in the lineup because once you get that consistency, now what we get is we get camaraderie and we get chemistry. So I'm not out yet, but I think that's the one thing that has to change.
Mm-hmm. Sean, what's up, brother? You got something?
Yeah, I had a question for both of y'all, actually.
Go ahead.
I'm a Nets fan, and Ben, he been terrible this year, like bad. What I wanted to know is that if y'all was on the Nets coaching staff, what would y'all do to give Ben life again? Like, Chill, you said that you don't think he loved the game anymore. So I want to know, what would y'all two say to him to like try to get him back to who he used to be?
That's the first thing we got to find out. Do you want to play? Do you want to play basketball? Let's get to the bottom of that right there, because once we get to the bottom of that, then we can fix the other stuff. I'm not sure that this dude wants to play basketball. If you notice when he's on the sideline, when is he the happiest? You ever see him smiling?
Dressed like a fashion show.
When you see him, when you see him when he on the sideline and he's fresh, he out there smiling. But when he's on the floor, he looks like he can't get this over with fast enough.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he wants to be there. So the first thing we got to get to the bottom of with Ben Simmons, my man, do you want to play? Because if you don't want to play, we can get to the bottom of that right now. Right?
Buyout. Buyout was coming.
Joel really ruined him like that? Like,
Nah, because
he ruined himself. He ruined himself.
It's not even because like in the month of November, he was averaging like 18, 9, and 8. He was playing good, and then December came around, it just went right back trash. He for the rest of the month he was averaging like 8, 7, and 7, and I don't know.
I think that back injury is a lot
Kyrie
worse.
And KD.
I think that back injury is a lot worse than what we giving him credit for. I think that's a lot
Brooklyn
worse.
Was set up, man. The way Brooklyn was set up before they started trading everybody, I felt he was in the perfect situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Perfect
what I
situation.
thought it would
shooters
be
all
Ben
around, and all you had to do was play. Basically, what we said about Chris
Mikal
Paul.
took the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what we just said about Chris Paul, him in his advanced age, all he had to do, knock down open shots, hit the open man. All Ben Simmons got to do, play defense, rebound, push the pace, get it to Kyrie and KD.
If you look at Ben Simmons' game and you look at how he plays, the one common denominator is passion. So that suggests to me, do you want to play? So it's not because I've seen him knocking down open shots in the summertime on video,
like
right?
year.
Right.
Yeah,
I've
in the
seen
Rico
that.
League,
So
yeah.
we've seen all of that stuff. The question is, do you want to play at this level? That's the $1 million question. Because if you don't, let's wrap this up and let's get some people in here who want to play. Let's do that. Now I understand he's under contract for 3 more years, right? And he doesn't have a lot of trade value right now. No, he does not.
He been sitting ever since.
Yeah.
But
Like,
that contract,
I really hope he
is
get it
negative
together,
value.
man.
Right.
I really hope he get it together because that'd
Right.
be.
Yeah, because
You want to talk about waste of talent? 6'10" can do everything but shoot.
He was on the All NBA team just 2 years ago. He was
I'm
on
gonna
the All Pro.
I hope you get it together, man.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, Sean. Since you asked, if I'm the coach or anybody in that organization, what I'm gonna do best for Ben Simmons and us is separate. However, whatever
You out, Big Ops? You out?
But that's all. That's
on
almost
Ben
like you
Simmons?
running from his problems.
there's nothing I can do for you on the basketball court, in the weight room, anywhere. If your heart ain't in it, if your heart ain't in it, and your mind ain't in it, then we might as well just sever this.
Yeah, you right about that.
Sever this.
Buy out. That's been a knock since college, though. LSU, same thing. They questioning his passion. We've been questioning this dude's passion to play since college. So at this point, I mean, like you said, it's time to separate, man. We're not going to, run up these checks for you to sit out here and complain about this, complain about that, all the reasons why you can't be effective on the court when like brother said, he was in a perfect situation. It don't get no better than that. There's no team that can offer him anything better than what he had.
We don't think highly of Steve Nash as a coach, but you got one of the best point guards ever coaching you. And you still couldn't float.
You got to take
crazy.
something from that. But D. Reed, Sean, I'm gonna let y'all go real quick.
Salute.
Be easy, fellas.
Be
easy.
Salute, Tyson.
Be easy,
salute,
fellas.
brother. Salute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before I let anybody else up, let me go through this super chat real quick.
Mm-hmm.
1 second, y'all.
Them Phoenix Suns, boy, they doing it.
Man, I hope they get right, bro. I know it's a long shot, but I hope they get right.
Alec Bolton, love the show, Chillin' Ox. Question: how does Embiid do against each of the main 90s matchups, both sides? So we got Ewing, Olajuwon, David Robinson, and Shaquille O'Neal. What you think?
I think that he has trouble with all of them dudes, and I think that he would have to adjust his game. Not only would he have to adjust his game, he would have to get tougher. And I think that's the separator. So guys like Ewing, guys like Olajuwon, David Robinson, being the transition player that he is, those guys are body bangers. Those guys want to play physical. Now, Joel doesn't really want to play as physical, because that's not really the game today. But could he adjust his game to that? I'm not sure if he could do that. He has somewhat of a mean streak in him, but it ain't Ewing mean. It ain't Olajuwon mean, right? Yeah. It ain't David Robinson. It ain't Shaq mean. And I think that's the difference, where he would have an adjustment period where he would have to get mean like that. But I'm not sure if that's in him to be mean like that. I'm not sure.
You got any input for that, Tyson?
Yeah, I think as far as skill, he's second to none. As far as talent level and what he brings to the table, he's second to none. But Chill is right. I agree 100%, man. He would have to get tougher. Them dudes is gonna bang. They're gonna bruise. They're gonna elbow. They're gonna get nasty with him. And I don't think what we see right now, he would be able to out physical those dudes. And those are the greatest centers of all time. So they're a problem for anybody. They're a problem for each other. So
yes,
you talking about the best in the game. So them dudes is a problem. You throw anybody at them. But offensively, I think he can give all them dudes fits too.
I think.
You want to answer? Do you want to input on that one too, Lee?
I think in terms of banging, the only person that really banged for 48 plus minutes was Shaq. David Robinson tried to outrun you because he was more athletic. Ewing was the best shooter out of the bunch, and Olajuwon had all the moves. But like in terms of banging for 48 minutes, like I think he'll definitely have to get tougher, like Chill said. But I think it would, because It's just the pace and the offense was different back then. The ball definitely gonna be going to him. I think he's probably the better shooter out of all four of them, to me, in my personal opinion. But I think he'll definitely have to get tougher. It ain't gonna be no easy stretch because he's gonna have to battle them just as much as they gonna have to battle with him.
Yeah, Teddy Hart tapped in with a kind of a follow-up, I suppose. It's true it'd be challenging for Embiid, but he can drag all those 90s bigs out into the deep water, the perimeter, where they'd have a hard time.
No, they wouldn't.
Can I just
No,
say
they would
something? Can I
not.
say something? Can
No,
I
they
say something?
wouldn't.
Can I say something about that, please? Real quick? Just want to say
Go
something.
ahead.
Anybody not remember Hakeem Olajuwon having 5 blocks per playoff game? I'm just curious. Anybody remember 15 blocks? Anybody remember?
He averaged 4 blocks in the playoffs for a decade.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Thank you for correcting me, Jill. But I'm saying, have you ever heard anyone else say that? So I'm just saying, Joel ain't going out on Hakeem. No, not today, Mister.
No. Or Ewing,
or David Robinson,
or David Robinson, or Shaq.
Look at how hard. Matter of fact, Hakeem dropped 39, 17, and 15 on them boys. Tell me again, Hakeem isn't the best. I'm just saying. I
gotta go as far to say that David Robinson and Hakeem Olajuwon are locking Joel Embiid.
Yeah, but I just want to make a quick point.
And on top of that,
I agree with you.
And on top of that, just so you guys know, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, Bob, to big up your Kings. I told you from season they look promising. Next year, if you don't win it this year, next year y'all in the finals. I want to say OKC.
Finals.
Them boys, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, Giddey. I came on here and told y'all about Boston last time. Giddey looks like the new J Kidd. The way his head is always up, looking for his teammates ready to go, and then you got Shy just dropping buckets. They just need a little bit more time with defense. I think they're gonna sneak in as well. But with OKC, that's my team. That I think Knicks is my real team. But like I said, you think OKC and the Kings with proper management, you think that they can make it this year? And my second question is this: with Houston, I don't think Houston need to change anything. Houston just needs to get a coach like a Mark Jackson to help out Silas. Silas is doing good with that young team. They are young. All I'm trying to say is with the Kings and all these young teams I'm talking about, 2014, Golden State Warriors proved right before they wanted to get rid of Klay Thompson, they wanted to trade up the whole Splash Brothers. Who walked in? Steph Curry said, hey, I'm going to show you guys, space the floor a little bit better. Mark Jackson got the right system. We just need a little bit more space. Now look at them. Why can't it happen with the Kings? Why can't it happen with OKC? Why can't it happen with these, even the Magic? Lower market teams, now I'm starting to look. I think the next 5 years, the West ain't going to be as good. It's all going to be from the East because look at how everything is changing and how players are developing. Like I said, look at Giddey. Giddey is a perfect off-the-ball point guard, but nobody talks about him.
He is.
Well,
he definitely is, and I saw that last night.
The first problem is we got to establish who the franchise player is. That's number one.
Facts.
That's the first thing we got to do in Houston. Who's the guy? That's the first thing that we have to do in Houston.
Can I say
Jalen Green?
I like Junior.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's Jalen Green?
To me?
Are you sure it's Jalen Green? Have you watched that big guy Sagan that they got? Have been working with Elijah? Have you been watching him? How about
Sangoon is good, but I think I don't know if they want to build like one guy. They want to build a core. A core players to me.
And even if you do have a core player, you still got to get a guy.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying because they don't have a consistent score. They don't have a consistent score or that guy yet that's there to be like, yo, let's go. They need one good vet to just come in and teach them how to be a little bit more hungry. Because you saw last game, Houston was scrapping. Marcus Smart fouled out the game. Marcus Smart is a defensive player. How the hell he fouled out the game? 10 seconds left, and then Tatum can't even make a layup. I'm telling you.
I think Marcus Smart might be extra.
I'm ready. Oh, one more thing. Tiki and his son Crunch or whatever. I've been waiting for y'all too. Y'all keep ducking me in these chats. I got news for y'all punk. I'm here. I'm done. Sorry,
all right, Ticket. Hold on, real quick, Brian. Ticket versus the world tomorrow. So tap in. Ticket versus the world.
I've been tapping in all this week, telling them.
I've been waiting tomorrow. Ticket versus the world. Ticket ain't on this show, brother. Can't help it. But
I'm talking about every PC program. I have been looking for that dude.
I got you. You don't got to look no more.
Hey, just so you know, real quick before you go, before you go, Brian, just so you know, for every time you come on the show, you gotta wear that hat, B. You can't come
Always.
on if you ain't got that hat on.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm from Team New Jersey, by the way.
I'm from Jersey, so like I said,
Hey.
you can't come through if you ain't got that hat on. You have to rock that hat from now on.
No problem, Chill. But hey, let me go.
Brock,
Everybody else here, Bob. Thanks, man.
For sure, appreciate you stopping
Be
by.
easy,
Stay
be
tapped in.
easy.
Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere.
Oh no, we got these Brooklyn brothers up in here, man. We got the Brooklyn squad.
You damn
Shout out
right.
to
You got
y'all.
the Brooklyn
Yo.
squad up in here. You damn right. Don't shake your head. Don't shake your head, Chill. I ain't even come here to
Breezy,
get on that.
what's up, Big Breezy? What's good?
I did my homework before they came in. I don't know if Chill want to jump in and save you. I found out that the Sacramento Kings are really from New York. You know, the Rochester Royals, right?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We in Sacramento now.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I did my homework.
all that 1960 shit don't mean nothing to me.
No, listen. I
We
just wanted to let you know.
We was in Kansas City too. If I'm
Of course. I'm glad you know. I checked the record. I see that we played the Sacramento Kings 96 times, and y'all won 51 out of 96. I ain't jacking none of that. You know what I'm saying?
We up.
And also, I want to say thank you.
They went from Rochester to Cincinnati to Kansas City.
Cincinnati to
Right.
yeah.
So
They
Right.
Globetrotters, huh? They should be
Y'all
the
like Nomads.
Globetrotters.
Y'all like nomads out here. You know what I'm saying?
We found a new beautiful home.
All right.
And the
And
beautiful
what I will say is in 1951, I found out y'all beat the Knicks for the NBA championship. So shout to y'all. But we plan on. So my question to Chill is this: how do you put a fox in a trap? We play the Kings tomorrow, and we want to put a fox in the trap. We want to make it difficult for him. That red velvet cake.
Swiper, no
That
I
red
can answer
velvet.
that for you.
Swiper,
That
no
red.
swiper.
I can
That
answer
red.
that for you.
I don't even
Here's-
like red velvet cake. I want chocolate cake. Now I'm saying we don't want nothing. We don't want. We got problems. We want all the smoke with the Sacramento Kings fans, man. That's why I'm
y'all
here.
don't.
Real quick, Leaf.
No, y'all don't.
Hold on, Leaf. Let me say this. Let me tell you this.
So you better say them,
You
Phil.
may not like red velvet cake, and even if you don't eat no red velvet cake, it's gonna be some crumbs everywhere you go. You're gonna be seeing red velvet crumbs.
Not
like
at the
y'all be eating.
Barclays.
Hey, we gonna leave red velvet all over it. It's Swiper. No swipe. You can't trap a fox. He too slick and sly for you.
We gonna see. I got Doe locking up Herder tomorrow. I got my guy Doe. I'm with my guy Doe. What you got on this, Chill? What you think? Who you got winning tomorrow night game?
Well, Sacramento's good on the road. They've been really good on the road. But
Okay. What up, Lee?
I think the difference is that what you got to do with Sacramento is you got to slow down Fox. He's the head of that attack. Now, how you slow Fox down is when he get off the ball, keep him off the basketball. That's the only way you can slow them down, right? Because he's their primary playmaker, he's their primary distributor, and he's their best perimeter scorer, right? So when he get off the basketball, keep him away from the basketball. Mikal Bridges does a really good job. He kind of, I've said this in the past, he reminds me a lot of Eddie Jones, where he gets you once you get off the ball, he keeps the ball away from you and throws you off rhythm. If you could keep the ball away from Fox and throw him off rhythm, you'll throw that offense off rhythm. Now, Herder, on the other hand, Herder, they do a great job. Sacramento does a great job of getting Herder wide open looks. And the reason why they get him wide open looks is because they run a lot of action, like delayed action. So if you watch Steph Curry is constantly moving. Herder will stop, hold, go. And that what that does is that holds up the defense. And when in the process of that holding up the defense, that kind of gets the defense falling asleep. And that's how he gets a lot of his open looks. Plus with Sabonis, he with his ability to rebound, what he does is he gives you guys a lot of second chance points. He gives Sacramento a lot of second chance points. He gives Sacramento not just second chance points, second opportunities with the basketball because of his rebounding. So in order to slow them down, those are the things that I'm thinking about off the top of my head that you got to slow down.
See, Chilltown, when you bring that up and keeping De'Aaron off the ball, that's what I was going to say. See, DeMontis brings the ball up where it's not a fast break, it's like a secondary break.
Right.
Where, if he's not kicking it up to De'Aaron, that's okay. He'll bring the ball down. If you don't stop him, he goes to the rim. If you don't, he does that dribble handoff where you can cut back door, come off the handoff and shoot. So we got secondary offense. De'Aaron Fox, if Mikal Bridges is guarding De'Aaron Fox to keep him off the ball, that's the best case scenario for us because now Mikal Bridges is all the way out to play. So now Keegan Murray, Kevin Huerter can come off shooting. Harrison Barnes can cut to the rim. We got secondary options. Our offense is deadly.
Bottom line, they ain't got enough guns over there in Brooklyn right now.
Y'all ain't strapped like you need to.
Y'all ain't strapped up yet.
We got army guns.
Hey, right. Hey, Miguel.
That's fine with me. Listen,
Miguel Bridges is your number one scorer. It ain't enough, brother.
I heard enough. I heard all that I'm gonna hear.
Army guns.
I heard that all I'm gonna hear. The problem is
why is Cam Thomas out the lineup? By the way, why is he?
What happened to that brother? We got an APB out on Cam.
What's the problem?
Wait. Listen, it's because of coach. It's because of the coach.
They just extended him.
No. Hold on. Let me handle Brooklyn business. Let me handle Brooklyn business real quick. Because that only two people know what's going on here, and that's me and this gentleman at the bottom. That's what's going on. That's number one.
Let me know. Let me know what happened.
That's right. That's the only two people that know what's going on here.
I watch Brooklyn. I watch a lot of Brooklyn games.
I understand that, but I live here. Let me explain to you. The difference is we have to run when you play in the same 8-man rotation, and we playing against high octane teams. A la OKC, third highest pace in the league. Sacramento first, if I'm not mistaken.
That's all.
We have to play more bodies. We got to put younger legs out there. We got to play more bodies. We got to get more rotation going, so that way the starters is not spent by the end of the game. That's the real.
Y'all gonna be tired trying to keep up with us.
Hey, big fan, don't buy that. No, big fan, don't buy that. You know why you buying that? The reason why you buying that is because it sounds good. You don't have to play the way I play. What are you talking about? So if I'm a boxer and I'm gonna get in front of the ring, I'm gonna get in the middle of the ring and I'm throwing haymakers. You want to get in the middle of the ring and throw haymakers with me? You're gonna lose. You can't play like that, Lee. You don't have the personnel to play like that. You don't. I heard everything that you just said. You're telling me that Sacramento plays fast, so in order for you to keep up with them, you need the bodies to play fast. So here's the problem with that. I got an idea. How about we slow the game down?
Exactly.
How about we do that?
Yeah,
and we don't need to slow the game down with more bodies. How about we slow the game down with what we have? AKA, I'm not going to get in the middle of the ring and throw punches with you. I'm not going to fight your fight. I'm not going to do that.
See, Chad, this is what y'all here for. Y'all here for this. Y'all here to
talk
learn
to him,
Chill.
I didn't say nothing about style.
Y'all pay attention. Y'all tap in. Y'all pay attention. Use your think box.
I got a question. For you, Brooklyn brothers. I got a question. What happened to Cam, Jeremy Lin, Thomas? That was the shortest Jeremy Lin run I've ever seen, bro.
Told y'all.
What happened? How you go from averaging 40 to getting DMP'd?
It's minutes. He's not ready for the big moments like that. Like, we understand that. That's number one.
I disagree.
He clearly not, bro. We've been over this on your channel, bro. We talk about he could create for himself. The problem is creating for other people. That's what Jock Vaughn want him to do coming off the bench. You think he want to play? You think he want to play Steph Curry for 18 to 20 something minutes?
I'm
you really think that?
I'm gonna answer next.
Like, so my thing is, bro, when we play high octane teams, the style can remain the same. Like Chill said, you don't have to change the style. It's about running more bodies. So your main core 8 players, your main core 6 going down the stretch are not winded and not out of gas. That's all. That's the only thing. Because we need more bodies. We need the players that was playing before we got the trade. Before we got the trades off, before we completed the trades, because they was playing their asses off. Cam Thomas, Darren Sharp, them young boys was playing their asses off. They didn't quit. They didn't throw in the towel.
So why is he not playing? Because the coach don't like him? Because why is he not playing is my question.
Because the coach don't feel like he's ready to play the backup minutes that he wants him to play. That's
Breezy,
why.
Jump in.
No. Hold on. He wants Cam Thomas to be the backup point guard. That's not who Cam Thomas is.
All right,
that's an issue. That's a problem. The boy is a bucket, man. Let him go out there and get buckets.
But he wants him to create for everybody else.
Right, hold on, Leaf. What's up, Breezy? What's up?
I seen a post-game interview with Jock Vaughn, and he answered that question. The media is on his neck about Cam Thomas, and they asked him that same question. And he said, in a nutshell, this is not verbatim, pretty much all the other teams in the NBA and the association have chemistry and experience as teammates for 82 games going into the playoffs. We don't. We got 4 new players right after the trade deadline, and he needs to get these players acclimated to play big minutes for the playoffs and gain chemistry, as much as chemistry they could get in short time span of 20, 30 games or whatnot. So, in my opinion, Cam Thomas was asked to play a role to be a facilitator, but that's not working for us. And the only way he could get back in the rotation is if you let him play the same way he got to the NBA and just let him be a pure bucket. And the only reason why that I came up with that conclusion is because we taking 43s a night. So he's going to make the defense react. And if he could draw double teams, if he could get to the free throw line, that's going to make the defense leave the guys on the corner open, Wasabi Watanabe or Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges leads the league right now in 3-pointers in the 3-pointers in the corner. And I'm just saying, Cam Thomas, and like Leaf said, you got other players that could be utilized, and he does have a leg to stand on doing what he does, him and Jacque Vaughn. But he don't want to burn out the starters before we get to the playoffs. And last tidbit that I'll say, the difference to my knowledge is from the playoffs to what he's doing now is that between games in the playoffs, you get 2 days rest. Right now, we only getting 1 day rest. So we don't necessarily need them to play heavy minutes every game. I would like them to see open up the roster a little bit, but I get what Jacque Vaughn's doing, and I'm confident. And last time I was here, we won some games. We won more games than we
Tyson,
did.
You don't look like you're feeling that, Tyson. What's up?
That's that logic I have never heard. Build chemistry by not playing people. I just don't. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I know what he's saying. I understand.
Okay.
What's up, Guns? You got anything to add to this? How you feeling about this situation?
In regards to this topic, I haven't really paid too much attention to the Nets ever since they made the trade. I have always wondered that and why they stopped playing Cam Thomas when it was like, clearly it should have been there.
I'm going to explain why again.
We already heard, Leaf. We don't got to explain on this. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
I'm a little confused. Building chemistry and resting starters and not burning them out before the playoffs.
Listen, to land the plane quickly. The 4 new players that got to the team, they starters on our team. Right. They don't have no chemistry and experience, so Jacque Vaughn needs them to gain chemistry and experience, even at the cost of us losing. Before we get to the playoffs so that we're able to compete. These guys in the playoffs are going to be doing bread and butter plays, X's and O's that they've been winning with from the beginning of the season. And we need to gain some of that to stay in the competitive field to compete with playoff teams. So I get it, but I still want to see Cam Thomas. I feel like he deserved the minutes because of the 3 40-point games. Yeah. And he stepped up when KD and Kyrie wasn't
I can understand getting the start. I can understand what you're saying as far as getting the 4 players on the floor playing together, but I don't think that means eliminate Cam Thomas from the rotation altogether. I'm talking about DMPs. I'm not talking about 20 minutes a game.
Fellas, hold on, Leaf. We got to keep it moving. We can't.
Yeah, facts. Okay, my bad.
Every team counts, but you know how we do. We get caught up with the Brooklyn Nets all day. But let me keep it moving though. Guns, you stay up with kicking with us for a little minute. Rest of y'all, appreciate y'all for stopping by. Y'all stay.
Big fan, breezy. All right, B.
I got one more thing on my way out, man. The official heist from New Jersey to Brooklyn will be complete, Chilltown. Best believe it. I'm out of here.
All right, Lee.
Be easy, fan.
I find that very weird though that's going to be the Brooklyn strategy because they're kind of on the cusp of getting into the play-in games, and at that point, if they lose in the play-in games, then you just automatically drop out the playoffs. So it's like,
yeah,
I think they're only like 3 or 4 losses away from.
No, they're a game and a half out the play-in tournament. They're a game and a half up on Miami in the play-in tournament.
Yeah, they got to get it together. They need to win some games.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that's ridiculous to even try to tempt fate when they already got
2.5, something like that. So I think it's a game and a half or 2.5 games.
Close.
Yeah.
I did have a question for y'all though.
Real quick before you, just hold on because I'm gonna keep you up for a second. So let me get this super chat off real quick.
Yep.
Angie Carr. Appreciate you, Angie. We love you up here. Thoughts on Damian Lillard's opinion about the NBA becoming a ring culture?
I don't have winning on my list as high as other people because a lot of stuff goes into winning, B. Don't get me wrong. Winning matters. I care about winning. But the stuff to get to winning is what matters the most. Because, again, we talking about having a whole bunch of things go your way in order to win. You need Giannis is a prime example of that. Before Giannis, that's why I had such a difficult time when I see like top 20s and top 15s and Giannis is in the top 15. I'm thinking to myself, okay, in 2021 they won the NBA championship, and I'm a big Giannis fan, but I'm thinking to myself, the next year he's now a top 20 player. That means that he was close to that. And if he was close to that, what did Giannis do in 6 years to be close to being a top 20 player all time before he won the NBA championship? I'm not sure if he did that. It's a lot that goes into winning the NBA championship, a lot. And with a guy like Damian Lillard, as awesome as Dame is, that Portland team, they maxed out in 19. When they lost to the Warriors in the West Finals, that was as good as it got. They had an opportunity to upgrade that roster, but they didn't. In fact, they ran it back. And in the process of them running it back, everybody else got better. The Lakers got better. Houston got better. Everybody else got better, and they didn't, which is why you saw what you saw with them. Now, winning matters.
Mo or Freshie, are y'all listening to it or something on a different device or anything? I'm hearing like an echo.
How about now?
I don't know. Go ahead, Chill, because you were going.
No, I was basically saying that with Damian Lillard, again, this ring culture that we have, winning does matter. And I understand Damian I think Damian is coming from the perspective of player to player. Now, player to player, that does matter. But when you get this player A and you put this player A in the same position and this player does more than this player, then I have to say that this player is better. I have to say that this player is, or maybe this player is better. Now, when you're looking at from skill to skill, stuff like that, I mean, that stuff goes without saying, to be quite honest with you. I mean, Kyrie Irving, as nice as he is with the pill, right? LeBron James, the transition player that he is. Those are things that you really can't. I don't think that those are things that you can really argue about. But when we get to the point where this team is in the NBA championship and this guy got his team there, and this team is in the NBA championship and this guy got his team there, and we're matching you two guys up together like that, whoever got outperformed, there's the logic of the better player. That's why I have such a difficult time with that, man, because I've seen better players get outplayed, man. I have a hard time with I'm a better player than you because I've seen better players get outplayed.
Right, definitely. That's the beauty of basketball. I always say that. The beauty of basketball is that when we're all at this level, the best player is not always going to win. The best team's not always going to win.
What's up, fellas? Can y'all hear me?
I don't know, man. How y'all doing?
So, Chill, I want to add to what you just said. Like, basketball is not like other team sports. It's one of the few sports where you have to play on both sides of the ball. It's not like football. It's not like soccer. And how many times have we seen a single player decide a series? Not just the team, whether his team was better or not. We've seen LeBron do it. We've seen MJ do it. We saw Steph do it last season.
Olajuwon, you can name
Olajuwon. We can go on and on. So, from Dame's perspective, only players that haven't won talk like that. Like no champion is going to make an interview and talk about how winning isn't as important as people put an emphasis on it.
Plus, to add to your point, when guys win, they separate themselves, right? They separate themselves where, you can't talk about him and talk about me in the same space because not only did I do what you did, this is the separator.
If everybody could win, it wouldn't be as special.
As much as I talk about Karl Malone, you guys know how much I did Karl Malone as a player. I can't talk about him like I talk about Tim Duncan. I can't talk about him like I talk about Tim Duncan simply because he didn't get it done when it mattered the most. I can't. And I'm a huge Karl Malone fan.
Can I add something about the title of the show? So I'm from Canada, right?
Yep.
And talking about disappointing teams, my Toronto Raptors, man.
I'm happy. I'm happy you said that because I was just about to get into it with this group. See if y'all can go around. So this is what we're gonna do. Freshie, you already on the topic, so you're gonna start it off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, tell me what's your biggest disappointment of the season?
My Toronto Raptors. Coming into this season, I thought Scotty Barnes was gonna get better. I thought Siakam was gonna get better. Fred VanVleet is probably the worst good 3-point shooter I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to talk about Nick Nurse at some point because that championship in 2019 has covered a lot of flaws.
Yeah.
Like this season, his in-game management has been horrible. And people talk about what's the fella? Sorry, I'm blanking.
Scotty Barnes,
the defender.
OG.
OG. People talk about OG like he's a second coming of Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
He's not. He's a very good defender, but he's not that good.
Okay, Freshie. So you got Toronto.
So
let me figure out.
So Fred VanVleet, he the best looking ugly chick, is what you're saying.
I couldn't have put it any better.
Sometimes that's the way to go. So okay, Freshie. So you say you got Toronto. Mostly is it? So are you saying is it Toronto as a whole, or is it just Nick Nurse?
I would say as a whole. Scotty Barnes hasn't taken a step forward. He's shooting horrible from three. His playmaking is overrated. He's barely averaging 5 assists this season.
Mm-hmm.
And when the trade rumors were going on, they didn't want to trade Kevin Durant for Scotty Barnes. Come on, man.
Somebody might need to be fired for that.
Yeah, somebody might lose the gig.
Somebody might.
And the same thing happened with OG.
So Reef. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on 1 second. We'll get right back to this. Man, L host. Y'all spam L host in the comments, man. I can't believe it. Let me shout out to our GOAT members, King J and Comatose. You know what I'm saying? No, those are our GOAT members that holding it down. If you want to be a GOAT member or subscribe to our, just go ahead, subscribe, click on that. Make sure y'all become a member, become a GOAT member. L host, my bad. Reef, who you got? What's your biggest disappointment of the season so far?
I got two, but
stick to one. The biggest one.
The Clippers.
Why the Clippers?
What about them?
Because I feel like people put them at a place where they're supposed to be. Like I'm a fan of the Clippers, but I think they fool you. Like unless you don't watch them, you would think PG and Kawhi would take you to the next, to that championship stage, but for some reason they can't see. Like PG is not the defender people think he is. He cannot guard the perimeter. When I watched that Kings game, I was like, "Yo, there was just smoking everybody." Kawhi couldn't guard.
You can't give me legit logic of a dude coming off the bench and getting 40. I'm not trying to hear it.
Bro,
it's not.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not trying to hear it. No, I'm not.
And PG, he's up and down. Like he's inconsistent sometimes. Like he'll give you 40 one night and then go 5 for 18 the next night.
Right.
And then and they added Russ. I'm like, I'm a Russ fan. Like Russ is my favorite. He's my third favorite player of all time. But I don't see him ending games. I don't see him being in the closing lineup.
Right.
Because he can't really guard. I'm pretty sure he can put Terrence Mann in. But I just don't see him as a group this year. I don't know.
Is Kawhi Leonard, not Kawhi Leonard, I'm sorry. It's Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown who Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were supposed to be as a duo.
Yep.
I think Kawhi and PG are supposed to be better.
So they should have been better than what Tatum and
I think because people think Kawhi Kawhi is one of the best postseason performers I've seen, right? Because he's hooping, people thought they were next coming. People compared them to MJ and Scotty,
right?
So I'm like, okay, if you give them that much praise, let's see what you got.
Right.
They folded in the bubble. I know they got injured, but everybody gets injured sometimes too. But that bubble year, I was waiting for that Clippers and Lakers matchup. I was waiting. There was one more game away, and they couldn't get it done.
Would it surprise you that the Clippers, both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, have played less games than Anthony Davis over these last 3 years?
Bro, that's crazy because everybody gets smoked to AD. But for Kawhi, Kawhi is actually hurt. But I think Kawhi don't play when he's 100% healthy. But I don't know.
Kawhi's never 100% healthy.
Yeah, true. But
He's never
that's kind of crazy to me.
Who you got, Mo?
Oh, my biggest disappointment is that the Lakers didn't trade Russ in the offseason.
I mean, they got rid of him.
I mean, but they playing catch up now. They wouldn't have played this catch up if they didn't. If they would have had a better rounded out squad in the beginning of the season. If D'Lo if we had the same pieces we had now in the beginning of the season, then nobody would be talking this much.
Takes time.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you, Guns? Who you got? What's your biggest disappointment of the season?
My probably the biggest one to me is Chicago Bulls, just because I'm a Bulls fan. In there,
garbage, trash them dudes. Oh my god,
it's something that it was one thing that drove me nuts for the longest time too, because I'm thinking they've got all these players who you got like Levine and DeRozan, who can definitely average like 20 points a game no matter what. You got DeRozan popping off like 38 and then dropping off to 8 points in a game, and that's like, what are you doing? And then you got Vucevic, which I used to live down in Florida. I remember when he was like a pretty easy 20-10 guy a night almost for them. And then they got Drummond, and it was just one of those things. I was like, okay, yeah, it's a shame that Lonzo got hurt when he did, so they didn't have their starting point guard. But then after that, I was just like, you guys have the pieces to. I'm not expecting to win a championship this year. I don't even know if I really would expect to go to the Eastern Conference Final, but you should at least be in the talks for it. And now I'm looking at them, and I'm just like, each day I'm looking at them like, are you in the play-on? Are you in the play-in game? Are you out of the play-in game? And they just keep flopping back and forth. And I think after tonight from the Kings, they're going to stay out of it.
I think the one thing that we discount is we discount how important Lonzo was to that group. Right. So if you look at, and you're a Toronto fan, DeRozan's best years was with Kyle Lowry when he was playing off the basketball. Zach LaVine, his best games, his best years when he plays off the basketball. This whole logic of positionless basketball, I'm not buying that. And the reason why I'm not buying that is because there's a reason why guys who play off the basketball are the most effective when they play off the basketball. Prime example, CJ McCollum. Why was he the most effective in Portland? Because he was playing off the basketball. He's not nearly as effective in New Orleans when he has the basketball, right? So the Chicago Bulls team, Lonzo being the defender that he is, being the distributor that he is, the floor leader that he is, he was the catalyst for what was going on in Chicago. And if he had stayed healthy, I think we having a completely different conversation, because now DeRozan got to play more with the basketball. He's got to be more of a playmaker. He's got to be more of a distributor. That's not his game. Not only is that not his game, that's not Zach LaVine's game neither. I was disappointed in Drummond, but with Lonzo Ball being a distributor that he is, he's going to get him more involved in the game, right? He's going to get Boots more involved in the game. So losing Lonzo, I think that was the difference in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they lost Lonzo, I definitely thought that they were going to take a huge hit this year, but I had hopes that White would step up and maybe not necessarily be like as strong as he was, but it could at least be a place filler for them for that point guard position. That way those players could do what they usually do, and then we could have Vucevic play the 4, Drummond play the 5, and I'm looking at the starting 5 being like, this is a pretty good stats team like what you've seen over the last few years.
Right. Yeah, so far, firstly, you got Toronto.
Yes, sir.
You got the Clippers. Mo, you had
the Russ getting traded.
Russ, right? Guns, you got the Bulls. Chilltown. What's your biggest disappointment of the season?
The Lakers. It's not a question. The Lakers. No doubt about it. The Lakers. With the collection of talent that they had, and what they produced, Anthony Davis being out the lineup, James getting hurt, this team I thought was going to be a lot better than what they are. We're talking about a team right now. If the season ended today, they got the 10th spot. So if 2 years ago, let's eliminate the play-in tournament, they're out. This team is not a playoff team, right? So we don't have the play-in tournament. These dudes are out. And we're talking about a team where when Anthony Davis is healthy, when LeBron James is healthy, that team won the NBA championship. And that was the plan, right? That was the plan moving forward. Everybody talks about, because Anthony Davis went on that stretch where he was playing the way he was playing. He plays better without James. Just so you guys know, James wants him to play that way. That was the plan originally. Why do you think in the 1920 season, James averaged the least amount of points since his rookie year that year? Not only did he average the least amount of points, he averaged the most assists. This dude is going to put 5 more years on my career. But the problem is that he broke down. When he broke down, James had already started breaking down. So now James got to go back to the dominant space. And with James going back to the dominant space, James starting to break down even more. That wasn't the plan. Anthony Davis was supposed to hold up, and James was going to play off of him, very much like what happened with Magic and Jabbar. Magic put more years on Jabbar's career, and the fact that he held up, that helped expand, and that helped move Jabbar's career forward. So, I mean, that put more years on Jabbar. That's the most disappointing. Now, I know, Mo, how you feel about Russ. I just think it was a bad fit. I don't think Russ is a bad player. I mean, how many guards in the league averaging 16 and 8?
Oh yeah, Russ, he definitely belongs in the league,
right?
Like, that's no question. But as far as like all my Lakers, no.
Right, exactly. And I can get with that. Russ is the chick that, you know what, you fly, you just ain't for me. That's all. That's who Russ is. I think you super dope. You just ain't for me.
Equivalent to Black China in the NBA.
I'm good. I'm good. I think you dope though, but you dope over there. You straight.
Keep that away over there.
OG, to add on to that, I think Russ is a good floor raiser. He's just not good enough to play at the championship level. He's way too erratic. He's way too erratic with the ball at his hands. His decision making is poor in tight spots. He's way too aggressive. He's always on 10. Sometimes he needs to slow down, especially when you get on the half court set. He's always on goal 100% all the time. Sometimes he needs to chill, for lack of a better word.
What if next year he went to like the Kings or something?
What?
Hell no.
Yo,
hell no.
Hell
no.
Not starting.
Well, hold on, you might got to go, Mo. you can't look. You can't be putting stuff. You can't be speaking stuff like that into the.
Here's the thing, though, Mo. Honestly, with him on the Clippers, it's not a bad idea because they do need a distributor. They need a primary ball handler, right? They need a playmaker like Russ because Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, these guys are better when they play with guys like that. The difference is we got to accept who Russ is. Russ is going to throw the ball in the second row. That's Russ. Okay? Russ is going to shoot the basketball off the top of the backboard. That's Russ, right? But Russ is also going to speed the game up, right? Mm-hmm. Russ is going to get other guys involved. Russ is going to get you easy opportunities. Russ is going to do those things as well. So it's not all bad, right? It's not all bad. So I'm not ready to throw Russ out with the Clippers. I actually like him with the Clippers. He just can't be the guy when we're trying to win in it. Freshie, I'll give you an example really quickly. I felt the same way about Kyle Lowry. I'm like, I don't think you can win it with Kyle Lowry as your lead guard.
I thought so too.
The reason why it works is because Leonard showed up, and he took a lot of that onus off of him. Well, the same thing I think is going on with the Clippers. Now, I think that Russ might be there. I think they might have gotten him a year or two too late, but I don't think Russ with the Clippers is a bad fit. I actually like him there.
But
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he doesn't finish games. Like he gets benched in the fourth. Yeah, so is it worth having him?
It's because he's not good at that time. He's not good at garbage time. Like
I think it's worth having him. Like it's worth having him in the beginning.
But you know what though? Like the super chats are running the show today. But I'm gonna do something out of the ordinary. Somebody in the chat did have a good one for us, so I'm gonna go around. Now, y'all just want the team. We don't gotta go too far into it because this ain't one of those 3-hour shows. But real quick, y'all, what team overachieved this season? Mo, who you got? What team overachieved this season?
Sacramento.
Freshly, who you think overachieved?
Do I have to pick someone else?
No, you can pick whatever you think.
It's easily Sacramento, man.
Sacramento.
Easily.
What about you, Reef?
Wait, overachieved? You mean like what team I think is like overrated?
No, what team do you think did better than they actually are? What team isn't as good as they're actually playing?
I think Memphis. I think they're always gonna get high seeding, but I don't believe in them. I don't think they're that good.
That's overrated. Overachieved.
Yeah.
That what you said is overrated. We're talking about a team that you thought before the season started they was going to be whack. Only except they were.
All right. To be honest with you, Phoenix.
So you thought they weren't going to be that good, and they turned out to be better than what you thought.
Yeah,
that's fair. All right.
What about you, Chill?
Oh, Sacramento. I had Sacramento outside the play-in. I had them outside the play-in tournament. As good as they were, I had them outside the play-in tournament. So for them to be a number 2 seed, man.
Guns, you still there? Who you got? Who you got overachiever this year?
I was kind of floating on the fence between Cleveland and Sacramento were probably the two, because I didn't really think that Cleveland would get as high of a seed as they did, but obviously Sacramento is looking pretty strong.
But Cleveland is stacked though.
When they got Mitchell, I had them as a top 5 seed in the East.
Exactly.
I had already, before they got Mitchell, I had already had them teetering on the top 5. But when they got Mitchell, I thought they were a bona fide top 5 seed in the East when they got him.
That's
crazy. Yeah, I just
crazy.
didn't expect them to have as good of a record this year that they did, because I mean, if you look at them, I think they're probably in the top 10 best records this season.
They're one of the best defensive teams in the league.
I think they're number 1. As a matter of fact.
Exactly, and their starting 5 can go head to head with anyone in the league.
And they kids too. Like Donovan Mitchell is 25. He's the oldest one of that group. Everybody else, nobody's over 25.
He was happy.
I do want to say this.
Yeah, he was, Mo. Yes, he was, Mo.
He was happy.
Yes, he was.
Of all y'all that said the Kings, obviously except you, Chill, this is your show. But the rest of y'all, don't even bother clicking on the link no more, all right? Don't even bother clicking on the link. Because look,
I'm hoping
I got
Bulls win tonight, but I'm looking at you guys winning.
Man, is that one thing about the Bulls or any team? Zach LaVine gives us problems. I don't know what it is why we can't guard Zach LaVine, but he usually tears us up though.
What you got, Mo? You had a question.
Okay, yeah, it's for you, Ox and Chill. Like, how come you guys think that NBA players rank Kobe? At least it's not top 5. He's in there with most NBA players, at least from what I can imagine. But everywhere else, it's like I feel like they find excuses to get him out of that top 5 talk.
My thought process with that is that I think a lot of those cats actually saw and witnessed firsthand the dog and pure animal that Kobe Bryant was. Whereas on the television, where most of us have seen, I've never seen Kobe in person. I never caught a game of Kobe, so I've never got to witness in person. So sometimes you can't feel on TV what you feel when you're in the presence of that person. Right. I think Kobe Bryant had one of those commanding presence on the court, off the court, just when you're around him. He seemed like he worked so hard that it looked just simple and effortless. And I think sometimes that scares people.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think it's the Kobe mindset. Just because you see plenty of these clips now that like these short clips that be putting out there. That there's some crazy stuff that you see, especially like going back over time. Like back when he was playing on USA, and it was like the very first play of the game against Spain, he just like runs Pau Gasol right over.
Yeah.
Like,
Chill. I know, Chill. I know you witnessed Kobe. I know you seen Kobe in the flesh. Do you got anything to add to that question? Like, what is it about Kobe that got the people that watched him feeling the way they feel about him? Except for you, you got him outside there too.
I do have him outside there. But with that being said, a lot of the people that have him where they have him, I think it's largely due to the fact that he ain't around no more. So I think that because he's not around anymore, I think that his presence and
his mystique.
His mystique of what he was, I think that brings a lot more to him. Now, I'm not saying that Kobe Bryant is a 15 to 20 player. I can have a conversation with anybody that has him between like 7 and 12. I have no problem with that. When you telling me he's the second best player in NBA history or the third best player, no, I'm not trying to hear that. No, I'm not trying to hear that.
I personally believe like outside of the top 3, the rest going down from, I would say, from 4 to 15, a lot of them are interchangeable.
Yeah.
depending on what you value.
Yeah.
If you value championships, you value scoring, you value defense, you value overall skill set.
To give you an idea, I got him at 11, right outside the top 10, right? I don't have him at 13, I don't have him at 15, I got him at 11 right outside the top 10. But with that being said, what does that tell you about the guys that I have in front of him? How awesome I've seen most of these guys. I wasn't around when Bill Russell played, wasn't around when Chamberlain played, but I did my homework on these guys. So what does that tell you about how awesome these dudes were, right? So I was in the building. Yeah. I was in the building in Sacramento in 2001. And again, I remember I was around when Jordan had hair. They used to call him Air Jordan. I remember that dude, right? So I seen Doc play. I seen the Bad Boys play. I seen Dominique Wilkins play. I was around Shaq. I seen all of these great guys play. I seen Olajuwon play in person. All of these dudes. I was in the building that afternoon when Kobe went 48-16 on the Sacramento Kings when they swept them. The most amazing thing I had ever seen in my life. I'm sitting next to a kid who Kobe hit. I'll never forget this, in the middle of the second quarter. Kobe hits a fall away 17-footer, and this kid sits right next to me. He's with his father. He goes, damn. And he's like 11, by the way. He goes, damn, how did he do that? And I said, yo, that's a professional right there. Yeah. That's all I said. That's a professional right there. And he just looked different than everybody else. But when I think about everything I saw with him, and I think about everything I saw with everybody else, right? When I saw it with everybody else, I got him right. We basically splitting hairs when we talking. It's not like, yo, all of these dudes are here and Kobe's here. No, it's like, this dude is here, this dude is here, this dude is here. It could be this, it could be that. It's not something that's just this. No. Hey, Joe, that's why I said, and really quick, that's why I said, if we have a conversation and you tell me that you got Bryant at 7, I'm like, all right, I'm cool with that. If you got Bryant at 8, I don't have no problem with that. None whatsoever.
Hold on one second, Reef. Fellas, I appreciate y'all coming up. Reef, you hang on for a second. I know you said you had one more question. But Guns, Freshly, Mo, appreciate y'all.
Fellas, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
We're not done yet, y'all. Y'all know where to find us at.
Clip that Kobe segment.
All right. Yeah, take care, fellas.
No doubt, yo. No doubt. What's up, Reef?
Hold on a second, Reef.
Do you have Bird and Magic over Kobe?
I do, yes.
Yo, Ron, you hear us?
And
Ron, hold on, Ron. Mic is off. Yes.
Where do you have Bird and Magic?
My background crazy.
I got Bird at. No, you good. I got Bird at 6. I got Magic at 6. I got Bird at 7.
Is there a reason why you have Bird over Kobe?
Yeah.
What is the reason why?
The reason why I have Bird over Kobe is because he was a more complete player than Kobe.
Do you value longevity as well?
I do value longevity. Bird 7 times in 9 years. He finished first or second in league MVP votes. Not only did he finish first or second in league MVP votes, Kobe, I think, might have been more talented than Bird, but what Bird produced for the period of time that he was, for the period of time that he produced it, I mean, it's unmatched.
Wait, by production, what do you? Because Kobe, I would say his peak was like, I would say 01 to like 2013. I think Kobe had like a 12, 13-year peak.
I was thinking Kobe Bryant from probably 02. I was thinking 02 was when we started really talking about him like that. Dude.
I understand.
So I was thinking 02 to probably 12. Because I think when did he rip the Achilles? In 13 or 14?
I think 13, 2012, 2013 season.
So I think that's when he ripped the, and that's when he started to slow down. Even though he was still awesome, that's when he started slowing down because he ripped the Achilles and then he cracked his knee and then the shoulder and then he started breaking down after that point. So he basically had Kobe probably had a 10-year. He probably had a 10-year stretch, which again, I care about longevity. I care about how long you did something and when you did it, right? So when I think about what Bird did during that time, right? Bird 7 times in 9 years, finishing first or second in league MVP votes, right? He wasn't the scorer, but in terms of buckets, Bird, I think he had a 4-year peak in terms of scoring. I think Bird averaged 27 a game for 26 or 27 a game for 4 straight years. He had a season, and Bryant has had awesome seasons too. But he had a season where he went 29-9, which is 30. He went 30-10, and he went 50-40-90. And Jordan won the league MVP. I thought that he had a better year that year than the year he won the league MVP in '86.
I agree.
Right? So Magic basically revolutionized the guard position. There's no Luka, there's no James, there's no Penny Hardaway, there's no any of the big guards. None of them dudes exist without Magic, right? None of them dudes. Magic, the best playmaker, right? Not only the best playmaker, one of the best. I don't think he was a better playmaker than James, but one of the 2 or 3 best. Yeah, I don't think he was a better playmaker than James. One of the 3 best playmakers ever. I think you think about playmaking. I think you look at playmaking as just passing.
It's arguable. I slightly take Magic over Bron, but I'm not going to fight Bron over Magic. I'm not going to fight that.
So when I think about playmaking, I think about a guy who not just gets other guys involved in terms of passing the basketball. I think about a guy who, James, for example, he goes down the gut and he's beating up on big guys, getting fouled. So now what happens is the second unit guy comes in, and Tristan Thompson is now getting easier looks because he doesn't have to deal with Vucevic. He's got to deal with their second unit guy. So now James is driving to the basket and he's getting fouls on their perimeter players. So now that's shortening their defense. Now that means that guys are more wide open, and he's getting those guys more involved. Plus, that's giving him more opportunity to score as well. So that's what I think about when I think about a playmaker. When I think about Magic, again, the best passer, not only the best passer, one of the 3 best playmakers. I care about defending. I care about being a defensive player. But
you're talking about defense, because Kobe. Okay, so the thing about for me and Magic and Bird, like as a scorer, I believe Kobe is a better scorer than both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And defense, I think Kobe washes both, because you talk about production. I think he's like tied with MJ with first team All NBAs, all defense.
Yeah.
And in that 10-year, from 2000 to 2010, he won half the chips in that decade. So he produced winning, he produced defense, and he was an all-time scorer.
Mm-hmm.
And and people like to say he played with Shaq, but then people have Magic and Kareem together. Kareem is people's top 3.
Right.
But no one knocks Kareem. No one knocks Magic for playing with Kareem, but everyone wants to say, "Oh, hold on, Kobe played with Shaq." There's some years that when Magic played, Kareem was a better player on that team.
Right.
Yeah. But
nobody knocks Magic for playing with Kareem, because nobody says that Magic is the best player ever. Nobody knocks Magic for playing with Kareem, because I don't hear anybody telling me that Magic is the second best player in the NBA history. Mm-hmm. So that's why I don't get into that logic. Now, the idea that Kobe played with Shaq, Kobe did play with Shaq, just like Magic played with Jabbar, and they produced, right? Not only did they produced at a high level. I mean, don't get me wrong, they won the NBA championship in back-to-back seasons with the Lakers. That was powered by Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, he was the best player on the team. That doesn't mean that Kobe didn't do his job, because Kobe was absolutely doing his job. It wasn't like he was just along for the ride, because he was definitely doing his job. But that team was powered by the big man. No doubt about that. That team was powered by the big man.
Kobe was the only one to prove that he could win without Shaq. Because even though he won with Shaq, people can still say, yeah, you're right. He had Shaq, and Shaq was the man.
Mm-hmm.
But he also won without him.
Yes, he did.
You can't say that. So, like, it's a hypothetical for Kareem and Magic. We can't say that Magic won without Kareem. But Kareem won without Magic, too.
Yes, he did.
That's a fact, Reef. Fact. Those are good arguments. So but Reef, we got to move it on.
All right, man. No problem, man. Hey, I
appreciate
this is good stuff.
Appreciate you for coming. Make sure you tap in next week. I want to continue this.
I definitely want to talk about this some more. I dig this, no doubt.
All right, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you. You have a good one, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
We not done yet though, so stick around.
Hang out.
That was some good stuff right there, though. Yeah. We got some super chats to get to, though. Let's get through them. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go with this one first, just because we were just on this topic. But y'all don't worry, I'm gonna get to the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe, 15-time All NBA, 12-time All Defense.
Mm-hmm.
Bird played 12 years. Kobe equals 5 rings as All NBA player. Magic only All NBA for 4 rings.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe had Defensive Player of the Year votes. Magic never.
Right. And with all of that being said, you're talking about being the defensive player. Just so you know, 11 of those 20 years that he played, he had a negative defensive plus minus rating. Negative. So he was on the negative side of the defensive plus minus. Now, that means that those 15 or those 12 all-league defensive nods, I mean, they are warranted, no question about that, but his coach said it. Kobe Bryant was not very good off the basketball as a defender. He did hamper his team a lot. As an on-ball defender, he was awesome. And he did produce that. Yes, he did produce that.
That's solid. That's solid. Good points. Let me get to the next one. Let's start from the top and run it on down.
Mm-hmm.
My man, Eric Dupree. What's up, brother?
Easy. What up?
I had said we as a basketball community will start to look at Embiid the way we look at KD. The superstar always in second place. Your thoughts? What you think
Eric,
about that?
you think that's some nonsense? I don't think I said it to Ox, but I was actually talking to a couple of my buddies. Embiid gives me Ewing vibes. That's the kind of vibes that he gives me. The guy who he was awesome, just not good enough. Just not good enough to get it done. But he could get there. And I think that at some point he's going to get there. I do, but I'm not sure that he could get it done. And those are the kind of vibes that he gives me.
Let me see. We got another one from Eric Dupree. The Bulls were Lonzo's team. Everyone else was to complement his play style.
Yeah.
That team was rolling as a 2 seed before he went down.
No doubt about it. They was at the top of the East. And if y'all remember, if you guys remember, DeMar DeRozan was in the league MVP conversation, and that was because he was playing off the basketball. He was playing off of Lonzo Ball, and they were rolling at one point. Yes, they were. I remember that. No doubt I remember that.
Alex Pickering, always showing love. What's up, Alex? Russ fits in Toronto, in my opinion.
To be honest with you, Alex, I actually, before the trade deadline and before they went after Mike Conley, I loved Russ in Minnesota too. I dug Russ in Minnesota. I thought that he would get them easier buckets than what D'Angelo Russell was getting them, because they didn't really get a lot of easy buckets in transition. I thought Russ would speed the game up and get those guys easier buckets. Yeah. So I did like him in Minnesota. I did.
You know, it's crazy. I can actually see that with Russ in Toronto.
Yeah.
You know, coming off that bench, you know, speeding up the game. I'm actually not mad at that. The way they play, the way they're put together. I'm definitely not mad at that. I could see that. That's a good point, Alex. Maybe Messiah here you want here, and he'll take care of that. Tony Gratzky, Jokic, Steph, Bron, KD, Kawhi. Who goes out first round? So he means the Nuggets, Warriors, Lakers, Suns, and Clippers.
I hate that. I hate that Warriors Suns matchup. I think the Warriors could beat them. I do. I think the Warriors could beat them. I do. I think the Warriors could definitely bounce them.
Yeah, I could see that. Like I said already, the West is one of those. I have no idea.
I do. I'm just looking at the landscape of the Western Conference, and I think that the Clippers could win a playoff series, depending on who they get matched up with. But that 4 or 5 seed between Phoenix and Golden State, I hate that. I do. I hate that. That 3-6 matchup between you guys and the Clippers, I think that'd be a dogfight. I do. Yeah. I think that'd be a dogfight. But if I had to pick between the two of those, I hate Golden State and Phoenix more.
Yeah. That's a dogfight that I'm not excited for either.
Yeah.
Not excited for that one. NV. Watch games instead of box scores, and you'll see his impact. He's top 5 at the least. I believe he's talking about Kobe Bryant.
No. You keep saying watch games. I was actually around when he was playing, so don't tell me to watch games. You watch games. I saw his impact. I was around when the dude didn't make the playoffs. I was around when he got bounced 2 straight years in a row in the first round after being up 3-1. I was around when that happened. Yeah. I'm not watching box scores. I actually watch the games.
Everybody that's in the lobby, y'all, we done calling cats up. So you know what I'm saying, y'all tap in next time. Appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all for sure. Yeah, that was crazy to say. Watch games. Greatest. Stop capping, chill. Kobe is the best ever.
See what I'm talking about? It's like stuff like that. Like I won't have conversations with people like that. Like he the best player ever. And no, I'm not doing that. Because to say that he's the best ever, I mean the dude that's the best ever, he wasn't better than him, and he modeled the arguably the best player ever. He modeled his game after him, and he wasn't better than him. So. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on that logic. Yeah.
Well, just to recap real quick. So what we touched on today, Ja Morant, he got 8 games with games served, so he'll be back possibly Monday. You know, some issues back there. Yeah. So we got that going on. You said your biggest disappointment of this season is the Lakers.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody that tapped in, we appreciate y'all. We'll be back right here, same time, same spot next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. So y'all have a good one, man. Appreciate y'all.
Take it light, but take it. No doubt.
Y'all don't drink. Y'all make sure y'all don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive. Don't drink too much. Don't do that. No,
hey, y'all put your money on the Kings. Don't put your money on the Lakers. Beat LA.